Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news. Just like any other time, today's got a lot of breaking news, got a lot of stuff to cover in the show. Watch the show every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. If you're on the YouTube, crush the like, crush the subscribe, and hit the bell, hit the notifications bell. On the Facebook and on Periscope, crush the like, crush the retweet, and reshare. Appreciate it much. And if you're on Facebook, there's a little secret. You can actually share this show to all of your Trump groups or your America First groups, your MAGA groups. Just hit the 3-person group and then share, and it'll give you a list of all your groups to share to it. Thank you very much. Share this with your friends and family. Today, trending when I woke up this morning, hashtag billion-dollar loser. Yep. Yeah. Will the real billion-dollar loser please stand up? Yeah, we're going to get into who the real billion-dollar loser is, exposing the fake news. We got some Trump, the comeback kid, news that mainstream media likes to hide. We'll never tell you. We're going to get into all that, as well as Donald Trump's leadership. We got a lot of deep state hate out there. Democrats screaming for impeachment. Nancy Pelosi pulling back, not ready to pull the trigger on impeachment yet. We also have breaking news that Bill Barr, as well as more obstruction justice and exposure. James Clapper on Wolf Blitzer admits a dirty little secret. He admits that, yeah, I guess Obama did spy on Trump. Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah, not good, not good. We've got the GOP chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, calling out Hillary Clinton for the hypocrite that she is. We've got information on a little bit. We've got some good news and positive news on immigration. And DNC 2020 team up with big tech. Yes, that's why we have trending billion-dollar loser, big tech, mainstream media, and the Democrat Party. They know they have no other way to beat Donald Trump in 2020, so they've got to collude together to make the attempt to try and crush Trump. And the more they attempt to crush our president, the worse it gets for them, and the worse they look, especially for independents. Independents aren't buying it; they're not liking it, and the independents are always about reaching across the aisle. Independents are all about, let's not fight. Let's go down the middle of the road. Let's not. And it's clear, absolute presidential harassment coming from the left. And then we'll end up with some really good economy news and something happened in Times Square that I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime. I'm quite surprised it happened, but it's a pleasant surprise. And we'll round out the show with that. But as we get started, first things first, today, Wednesday, is the 74th anniversary of World War II ending in Europe. Yes, that's right. The 74th anniversary of ending in Europe. And I tweeted this article out that the Daily Caller had put up. Wednesday is the 74th anniversary of World War II ending in Europe. Wednesday marks the 74th anniversary of VE Day. On this day in 1945, the Nazi forces surrendered after America and our beautiful allies successfully defeated Hitler's regime. There's nothing that gets my adrenaline going like some great World War II content. I grew up on it. I used to read Band of Brothers yearly as a kid, and it's just another example of how badass our American military members are. This by David Hookstead. Folks, if you look down in the show notes, you look down, there's all the video clips. There's a whole bunch of different video clips of Band of Brothers. I highly suggest down in the show notes below in the link, click on that and jump over to that and check that out. Absolutely. Our grandfathers, we grew up with our grandfathers, Greatest Generation, defeating Hitler, Nazism, and pushing back on communism. And most of them are all gone at this point in time. There's not a lot of World War II veterans left. However, there is one that I know specifically. I go to church with him, or he goes to church with me. He's 90, I believe he's 94 years old, 95 years old. He entered World War II at 17 years old in 1943. Right at the very end of the war. Went in the Navy, and he said that he was on a cargo ship, part of the Navy, and then kamikaze came right at their ship and just missed the deck. He said it was unbelievable, so close it was unbelievable. And at that point in time, he said, from then on, he believed that God had a purpose for his life. And what a great story to tell. I love those World War II stories, and just like that one as well. Jump over to get into Donald Trump, the big news, breaking news over the evening. Trump, a lot of people call the comeback kid. Trump, at one point in time, he was given a loan for $1 million. He took that $1 million and turned it into $1 billion. That's the exact same thing as taking a $100 bill and turning it into $1 million. The exact same thing. The ability to take that kind of money and exponentially make more with it. You've got to put a lot of work into it. And so he lost it. He talks about that, wrote the book, Art of the Deal. There's many videos out there. There's documentaries on it. Lost it and came back. If we talk about the American dream and the comeback kid of the century, that would be Donald Trump for sure. But over the night, we had the New York Slime. This is why they get the honorary title of New York Slimes. New York Times publishes Trump's tax data spanning 10 years. Yes, that's right. Somehow they've gotten some information that spans during the 80s and into the 90s having to do with Trump's tax data. The New York Times has published the personal data of President Donald Trump spanning a decade worth of time from long before he was candidate for president, saying the document shows that Trump lost more than $1 billion in the time frame from 1985 to 1994. Very important to note, while the actual tax returns, this is not the actual tax, and even if it was the actual tax returns, while this is not the actual tax returns, the Times says the data includes never before public information from the tax returns obtained from tax transcripts that glean data from the 1040 forms Trump filed with the IRS. Level of impropriety, it's just so rotten, it's so illegal that it's a shame, and it looks bad on the New York Times. Don't take this any other way than the New York Times. This looks bad on the New York Times. This is not bad on Donald Trump because we already knew that Trump had gone up and come back down and went back up again. If anybody's ever read the Art of the Deal, you know that he talks about that. Something else they're not going to tell you. New York Times, Trump's tax story leaves out New York City's real estate crash. Yes, not only did they leave out the real estate crash, but they also left out the fact that Trump was looking to open up casinos in Atlantic City, and that didn't go very well. It was not a very good deal. He even admits that it wasn't a good deal, and actually thanks the lady that refused to sell out to him for actually saving him billions of dollars in a failed real estate venture. Nothing gained, nothing lost. And Donald Trump's personal comments on the New York Slimes, at Real Donald Trump, real estate developers in the 80s and 90s, more than 30 years ago, were entitled to massive write-offs and depreciation, which would, if one was actively building, show losses and tax losses in almost all cases. Much was non-monetary, sometimes considered tax shelter. you would get by building or even buying, you always wanted to show losses for tax purposes. Almost all real estate developers did and often renegotiated with banks. It was sport. Additionally, the very old information put out is highly inaccurate, fake news, hit job. This is just like Rachel Madcow coming out with Donald Trump's taxes, showing that he paid a whole lot in taxes during the campaign, the run-up to the 2016 campaign. Rachel Madcow falling flat on her face with the breaking news: we have Donald Trump's taxes. This is going to fail. Promise you. This is going to fail. Once again, it's going to make them look as vindictive and angry and hateful that they are. This is the New York Slimes. This is the Democrat Party. This is big tech and mainstream media, all against the greatest president the United States has witnessed. The economy is roaring. People are getting back to work with the likes they've never seen before. People are getting better jobs. Middle class wages are on the rise. Unbelievable. Something else that I wanted to say too, I've said this in scopes in the past, but I know a little bit about corporate structure and structuring companies and credit when it comes to corporate credit versus personal credit. And that's very important to understand. Corporations have tens of thousands of things that they can write-offs all day long, write it off. Even Seinfeld did a joke episode about the write-offs. Kramer broke something and something broke in the mail, and he said he was just going to tell the postal service, hey, you guys did it, or the company bought it from, hey, it came in broke. And Seinfeld's like, no, well, that's not right. Kramer's like, no, it's a write-off.
Is this my stereo?
Oh, hey, you got it.
Hey, what happened to my stereo? It's all smashed up.
That's right. Now, it looks like it was broken during shipping, and I insured it for $400.
But you were supposed to get me a refund.
You can't get a refund. Your warranty expired 2 years ago.
So we're going to make the post office pay for my new stereo now?
It's a write-off for them.
How is it a write-off?
They just write it off.
Write it off what?
Jerry, all these big companies, they write off everything.
You don't even know what a write-off is.
Do you?
No, I don't.
But they do. And they're the ones writing it off.
Wish I had the last 20 seconds of my life back.
Tax write-off. Here's the deal, folks. At the end of the year, if your profit is, say, $1 million, you have $1 million in profit, and you're going to pay tax on $1 million of profit, okay? You could either pay tax on $1 million of profit, which might be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, whatever it is, or you could take that $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and do what Disney actually did. Disney actually took $1 billion. They had $1 billion profit that year, and they paid $0 in tax. How was that possible? They took the $1 billion just before filing their taxes and paid off $1 billion worth of loans that they had. That's right. Filed taxes that they made no money. Look, there we go. We didn't make enough to pay taxes. After that had happened, a couple months later, they went out and took out the loan. Yeah, they went out and took $1 billion loan out. That's legal. It's legit. It's as Donald Trump says, it's sport. It truly is. And for those who don't understand corporate structures or corporations or corporate credit, because it is the opposite of your own personal credit, then you're going to buy into this fake news story, the New York Slimes. And again, corporate credit, the name of the game is to get as much possible credit as you can. Overextend yourself in credit, run the credit up with supplies, and really start to bolster up your company, make it look better than maybe what it possibly is, and then you extend and get more credit. You can go beyond and on and on, and they'll give you more credit. The more credit you use, the more credit that they'll give you, especially if you're paying on the note. Take Home Depot, for example. I had a $5,000 line of credit with my corporation back in the day with Home Depot. And I was at my close to the max. I was like $4,700, $4,500, and I wanted to buy a new piece of equipment from Home Depot that was about $1,000. So I called the Home Depot credit card line, said, "Can I extend my credit?" They looked into it and said, yeah, sure. You've been paying on time and you're running to the limit. Yeah, sure, no problem. So they went and doubled it. Went to 10,000. I said, oh, fantastic. I'm going to get me some new tools. That's what happened. That's how it works. Now, when it comes to personal credit, that's the absolute opposite. You want to minimize how much of your credit that you actually use. You want to keep your payments down low. You want to keep the usage down low. It is total opposite. Not only that, but you can also do fancy things with corporations. You can file for a corporation, set up a C Corp, and then go ahead and put divisions underneath that C Corp. And under those divisions, then you can put more divisions and do what they call daisy chaining, different divisions, and have hundreds of companies in name only, beholden to one single corporation. You get one credit card for the corporation, and then you give each one of those entities, each one of them, a credit card. Then each one of those have credit cards, and so on and so on and so forth. And you can literally exponentially create $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in corporate credit. It's very feasible. Talk to the people. I've seen it done. I've done it myself. Not millions, but I've done it myself. And you could create millions of dollars of corporate credit and not even have a corporation. I mean, and when I say not have a corporation, not have any employees, not really have a building, not have anything. It's just all on paper. This is all legit. You're legally allowed to do it. If you don't know the game, then it's easy, like the New York Slimes, to go ahead and try and fake news this billion-dollar loser on Donald Trump. And this video posted by our friend Mike at FUCT up Mike. Good guy. Hi, New York Times. Trump told anyone who had a TV set in 2004 that he lost billions years ago. Your story is junk.
My name's Donald Trump, and I'm the largest real estate developer in New York. I own buildings all over the place, model agencies, the Miss Universe pageant, jetliners, golf courses, casinos, and private resorts like Mar-a-Lago, one of the most spectacular estates anywhere in the world. But it wasn't always so easy. About 13 years ago, I was seriously in trouble. I was billions of dollars in debt. But I fought back, and I won big league.
I fought back, and I won big league. Yep, not big league. Come on, folks, got to get with it. It's not big league. He said big league. Without a doubt. Folks, the art of the deal, it's out there. Donald Trump is an open book. People know who he is. Everybody knows his personal life, his private life. I've even had Christians attack me saying that Donald Trump couldn't possibly be a Christian. I said, well, how can you say that? Well, you guys been married 5 times. I said, man, come on. I know a lot of people who go to church, they've been married 5 times. You got to cut that out. Darn Christians going around judging people. I'm a Christian. I don't judge nobody. So don't go judging anybody. I'm just saying, don't go judging people. And as the title of the show, who the real billion-dollar loser truly is, this at Megavolt001, hashtag Trump at taxes. New York Times publishes Trump tax data spanning 10 years. Trump lost more than $1 billion in the time frame from 1985, 1994. This at Breitbart.com. And then he makes his own personal, lost half of what Obama stuck taxpayers with in 1 year of green investments. We all remember that. Anybody remember Solyndra? Remember all those new green New Deal deals? The shovel-ready jobs that never showed up? Barack Obama sending Iran $1 billion through the cover of night in cash on pallets, unmarked bills and different currencies, and complaining, saying that Iran couldn't cash a check because of the Iran sanctions. Obama, remember that time that you talked to Bank of America and you asked Bank of America to go ahead and bankroll that money, the $1 billion that you wanted to send to Iran? And Bank of America and Chase and all, they came back and they said, no, man, we couldn't handle the PR fallout. We went back to the board of directors. We talked to all the people in charge, and we've come to the decision that the PR nightmare would be unbearable and would probably crush our business. We cannot bankroll billions of dollars to Iran, Obama. Yeah, let that one sink in. And this at real Tyler Zed, Trump in 1997, I was billions in debt, wasn't good, but I came back. Writes a book about it called The Art of the Comeback. New York Times yesterday, breaking, we have tax documents. Trump was billions in debt in the 90s. We got him. These fools are desperate. It's pathetic at this point. And Tyler, my sentiment exactly. I agree with you 100%. They are losing so bad. Not only are they losing so bad, but look, folks, you got to understand there's a reason for this. They're on purposely doing this so that you look the other way and that we get off the trail of Hillary Clinton and Barack Hussein Obama. This is the biggest nightmare scandal that it's going to crush the Democrat Party. It is the worst scandal, the biggest scandal. We are not letting it go. We're like a pit bull with a locked on jaws. We're letting this go. You guys are not getting away with the greatest attempt to heist ever in America's history of 243 years. We will not allow you to get away with this. That is all this is. This is just sleight of hand, throwing smoke, trying to get people's attention off the real news of the day. And that's why you come here, guys. New Right Network's original series, Smith TV. And again, your host, Brian Smith. Crush the share, crush the follow. Jump over to newrightnetwork.com. A lot of great writers, a lot of great stories, some credible things. Also, my show's up there and all the show notes. And if you want to jump over there, just look down in the description below. It'll say full show notes. Just click on the link and you'll be right there at New Right Network. And if you got a chance, jump over to SmythTV. Check out all the information we got going on there. Not only that, but Donald Trump's Twitter feed is live, so you never miss a tweet from the president. And this at Jally_cat. Obama sent billions in ransom cash in the middle of the night to Iran. Trump sends USS Abraham Lincoln in broad daylight. Spot the difference? A leader versus a traitor. U.S. dispatches military to send an unmistakable message to Iran. Yes, that is true. Donald Trump is having to clean up Barack Hussein Obama's mess of 8 years of complete and utter destruction of the military, and also making bad deals and sending terrorist organizations billions of dollars to where they can create terror and wreak havoc all around the world. Also, Iran sending its drug cartel to the border of Mexico to wreak billions of dollars off the drug trade coming into America. Barack Obama hit us both ways. Hit us politically and hit us on the back end, whether it be Fast and Furious, the Iran deal, Benghazi, scandal after scandal. Joe Biden's scandals are coming back to haunt him. John Kerry's scandals are coming back to haunt them as well. Their two sons and their scandalous dealings with China and the Ukraine coming back to haunt the Democrat Party. On top of all of that, Hillary Clinton said, it's a fact, Hillary Clinton said, if we don't beat this son of a bitch, we're all going to hang from the noose. That's right. That's absolutely right. And the day is coming to where you will have to pay for your crimes, Democrats and crooked Hillary Clinton. And why? Why is it more? We're looking for the taxes. Because Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has set up a legal fight by refusing to turn over President Donald Trump's tax returns on the Democrat-controlled House. This by @AP_politics. Two things here. One, they know that Donald Trump won't give up his taxes. So since he's not giving up his taxes and doing what they want, then they're going to continue to fight him. And the reason why they're fighting him is because they know that Trump will fight back and his taxes won't be released. So either way, and this goes hand in hand with the Mueller report. This is identical. It's the same thing. Legally, the Mueller report cannot be 100% unredacted. Bill Barr set up a meeting with the Democrats, 12 of them, said here is a almost completely unredacted version. You 12 can view the report, but you can't talk about it, and you can't let this information out because it's top secret. Democrats refused and turned away. The Democrats, to scream and yell and to want Donald Trump's tax returns, and Trump ain't giving them up. They go to Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Department, and say, hey, we want Donald Trump's tax returns. And he's like, no, I don't even know if he's even authorized to give up Trump's tax return. Who's authorized to give up Trump's tax returns other than Donald Trump? I think that would be one hell of a legal battle. So here's the point to all that, though. He's not giving it up. The Democrats know he won't give it up. So they're just fighting him. And I'll tell you, the day he gives it up will be the day that the Democrats rule the day. That's not going to be good. And this doesn't end well, just like the Mueller report's not ending. The fight on the Mueller report, that's not going to end well. The fight that the Democrats have left and right is not going to end well. And something that I didn't have in the show notes, and I forgot all about it, but I'm just bringing up breaking news. This at the Washington Times. China says it will hit back if Trump raises tariffs. Tit for tat raises tensions ahead of trade talks in Washington. Chinese officials said Wednesday they are prepared to retaliate if President Trump carries out his threat to increase tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports. Mr. Trump plans to boost the tariffs from 10% to 25% Friday, asserting Beijing is reneging on an earlier deal. Trump's thoughts on what's going on. China has now pulled out of the tariff negotiations in the hopes that they get a Democrat that wins power. And don't think that's not even true. They know Joe Biden. The Chinese government knows Joe Biden well. He's been doing dirty deeds with him. He's been working with them years and years and years. His son has a corporation where the Chinese government officials are part of the corporation, donating, and the government and the banking, the Chinese bank that's owned by the government, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to Biden's son's corporation. Yeah, we got some problems on that. And let me jump down to that real quick, because since that's fresh on my mind, China begging, hoping, crossing fingers that they get a Democrat in office. Let's jump down to DNC 2020 team up with big tech. This at LV Nancy. What kind of president would Joe Biden be? One that brags about using his position to bribe an outcome while covering his son's dirty deeds. Hashtag Ukraine, hashtag Creepy Joe, hashtag Drain the Swamp, hashtag Trump 2020 landslide.
I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was 6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone
who was solid at the time. Nothing makes my blood boil more than these crooked politicians bragging about how crooked they are. They got this guy, this prosecutor fired that was going to prosecute Joe Biden's son and involved in the corporation. Joe Biden was tied up in these dirty dealings and all kinds of stuff over there in the Ukraine and in China, and the prosecutor was coming after him. And you hear Joe Biden joking about how he got him fired for $1 billion. Get the guy fired, $1 billion. Yeah. Worst president, vice president I could think of. And I don't even know who'd be. I mean, LBJ was awful. He's a communist, full-blown communist. And Woodrow Wilson, our first communist president, who suckered us into World War I. And as we're talking about the Democrats, the Democrat platform at Charlie Kirk 11, Democrats 2020 platform, open borders, bring back ISIS, war with North Korea, make America socialist, free post-birth abortion, crime, crash the stock market, nukes for Iran, put people back on food stamps, illegals over vets, children voting, demonize Israel. Who supports this? A platform that if you really looked at, nobody would support. Seriously, a lot of these people that are going to vote Democrat, they have no idea why they're voting Democrat. They're just doing it because they've been hoodwinked, lied to, propagandized, and they believe the fake stream, the fake news media, and all the hate and anger that the Democrats are putting out. And some good news, push back on big tech, if you will, push back on big tech. Good news. This at Breitbart News, and I want to thank our Patreons for dropping this in the Patreon chat and the link so that I could see this, put it up on the show. Proposed Texas bill allows state to punish social media censorship. In a committee hearing, Hughes stated Senate Bill 2373 tries to prevent those companies that control these new public spaces, this new public square, from picking winners and losers based on content. Basically, if the company represents, we're an open forum and we don't discriminate based on content, then they shouldn't be able to discriminate based on content. He also goes into an example that had happened with the Senate Republica. The Republicans put up an ad on Facebook that was pro-life ad and asked people to share it. Facebook came back and said, I'm sorry, you cannot do that. That's we're flagging this and we're taking this down because you're promoting a negative experience on the platform. Pro-life, please share. No, you can't do that. You're creating a negative experience on this platform. Won't do it. In the same time, they also put up another ad, because they juxtaposed, go back to back, another ad, which said, please share. It was about a tax bill. Please share. But that wasn't flagged. That was okay. Yes, this is more. And that's the thing. These politicians are now starting to get hit. These candidates running for office are now starting to feel the heat and the backlash of big tech coming after. It's not even big tech anymore. It's a Democrat Party coming after them. The Democrats have to weaponize everything because if they ran on their ideas, they would lose every single time. And I'm supporting the president, folks. Everybody's got their opinions, and I'm just letting you know right now. And for those of you audio only, I got my Trump Make America Great Again t-shirt on. And this tweeted out by @NewRightNetwork. @Real Donald Trump, we need help on social media before they completely silence us all. The thought police are taking us out one by one. Big Brother is watching us. Retweet if you agree. #MAGA, #Wednesday Wisdom. For those of you audio only, it is a picture of a running shower with a glass window. And from the outside, Zuckerberg is looking in. And the meme says, just making sure you aren't sharing any InfoWars videos. And if you're just catching up on the silencing and the big tech stuff, yes, if you share InfoWars videos on Facebook and say something good or positive about it, it will be stricken and taken down. If you say something bad about it, it will be left up. According to Zuckerberg, that's how they're going to roll. And people are like, why do we have Mark Zuckerberg, 34-year-old, $75 billion knucklehead? Why are we fighting these people? Where is all this socialism coming from? Who's propagating this information, and why do they think the way that they think? It all goes back to the Department of Miseducation. Department of Education became its own entity to be able to be funded to the tunes of billions of dollars a year. Thank you, Jimmy Carter. Appreciate that very much. That also led to teachers getting raises. That also led to the unions bursting over the seams with millions and millions and millions of dollars. The biggest union, one of the biggest unions, the teachers union nationwide. And this @Jally_Cat once again, putting out some really good tweets. Folks, the people that I tell you that you need to follow, you definitely need to follow here on Twitter. If you are on Twitter, jump down in the show notes, hit the link for the show notes, and just click on the names of each one of these folks and follow them back. She tweets out, the education system and liberal ideologues at work. The new chairperson at UCLA Newsroom, got conservative professor fired. The preordained fate of conservatives on campuses really need to be investigated.
need to fucking throw grenades into it. I don't give a I'm inspired by several things. Usually my hatred for the man. A person hones their writer's voice is by telling people to shut the up when they annoy them. Call them out for their inappropriate and spilling out masculinity. Make fun of them in public around. Sorry, guys, your kids masturbate.
University uproar. A popular UCLA professor out in Los Angeles now filing a formal complaint, a grievance with his union after he claims he was fired because he's conservative and has conservative views.
Students protested back in May, saying that they were being blocked from enrolling in Keith Fink's class on free speech before he was let go.
Just this year, there was a new chairperson who is a liberal ideologue with great disdain for conservative views. She came in, and the first day after my first class, she immediately slashed my class enrollment. I fought for the students, and it all went downhill from there. I mean, when I say downhill, I think it was preordained from the day that she came in that the school was intent on getting rid of me.
Gerard was unapologetic about her comments.
Hey, please back away, everyone.
She is the example of the double standard.
This is the double standard that we see in mainstream media. This is the double standard that we see with big tech. This is the double standard that we see with the Democrat Party. This is the double standard that we see with all these liberal outlets, whether it be Black Lives Matter, whether it be the hashtag Me Too movement, whether it be feminism. All of this stuff is to silence other people. No dialogue, no talk. If your opinion is different than mine, then shut up. You cannot speak. Same thing goes with Planned Parenthood. You can't talk out about Planned Parenthood. Abortions should be allowed to be plenty and free, and everybody should be allowed. No, don't you get involved in somebody's, nope, you can't speak out about that. No, we can speak out about it, and we will continue to speak out about it without a doubt. Now let's jump up to the deep state hate for Donald Trump. And this is what's now battling and brewing. We've had developing stories coming out about this throughout the morning, throughout the afternoon. So I'll just give you the updates of what has actually happened. And this at the Washington Times, Trump asserts his executive privilege to block Mueller report release. That happened earlier today. It was expected that Donald Trump was going to assert executive privilege to stop Mueller. And this is the same thing. The same thing as these people trying to releasing Donald Trump's taxes or force him to release his taxes, because they know that legally the Mueller report can never be released. Legally, for the protection of people involved, innocent people involved. Damn the innocent people, Democrats say. Damn them to hell. But that's what this is doing. Not only that, but apparently there are some ongoing investigations underway currently. You cannot release investigative information of a current investigation. You can't do that. It would ruin the investigation. So that's why they're pushing back hard on this, real hard. But thank you, Senate Majority Leader Donald Trump tweeting this out so that we can get the real news of Mitch McConnell taken to the floor yesterday. Case closed at Senate MAJ-LDR.
Seriousness is not what we've seen from the Democratic Party in recent days. Not serious. What we've seen is a meltdown, an absolute meltdown, an inability to accept the bottom line conclusion on Russian interference from the special counsel's report, which said the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. That's the conclusion. 2 years of exhaustive investigation and nothing to establish the fanciful conspiracy theory that Democratic politicians and TV talking heads had treated like a foregone conclusion. They told everyone there had been a conspiracy between Russia and the Trump campaign. Yet on this central question, the special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed. Case closed. This ought to be good news for everyone. But my Democratic colleagues seem to be publicly working through the 5 stages of grief. First stage is denial. Remember what happened when the Attorney General released his preliminary letter describing the special counsel's bottom line legal conclusion? Denial. Immediately, totally baseless speculation that perhaps Attorney General Barr hadn't quoted the report properly. But then, Madam President, comes stage 2, anger. Anger. Welcome to Washington in recent days. The Democrats are angry. Angry that the facts disappointed them. Angry that our legal system will not magically undo the 2016 election for them. And they've opted to channel all their partisan anger onto the Attorney General.
Anger is certainly what they're doing right now. They absolutely are in they've created the battle. They've created the battle because, again, optics, we cannot let this go. If we let this go, the Mueller investigation, the Russian collusion, then they'll find out about Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and the State Department, the FBI and the CIA, and the collusion with all of them in the background, and Russia. Christopher Steele, Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson, Russia, the Ukraine, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, John Kerry, Joe Biden. That's all of them. That's all of them. They're all involved in it. Cannot let this go. We've got to keep going after them. And this at Megavolts 001. Breaking. Barr threatens to have Trump block Mueller's report if Nadler holds him in contempt. Nadler was pushing to get Barr to respond to him with a May 1st unredacted 100% Mueller report, knowing he couldn't do it. May 1st is come and gone. Nadler threatening to hold Bill Barr in contempt. And now, as we find out today, this morning, Donald Trump is going to assert his executive privileges. As he exerts his executive privileges to stop Nadler and the Democrats from breaking law, like literally they're begging, they're telling Barr, you must violate the law. As a top law enforcement guy, you got to violate the law to give us the unredacted Mueller report. Bill Barr is not going to break the law. Donald Trump is going to assert his executive privilege. Case closed and finished. However, you're going to see more hate and anger, and all of a sudden now we got Nancy Pelosi. She's losing it. She's getting a little delirious, a little crazed. This at CHIZ MAGA. Wow, Pelosi has lost it, and this from Doing Right 1.
I told you this. Trump, I use his name, okay. Trump is goading us to impeach him. That's what he's doing. Every single day, he's just like taunting, because he knows that it would be very divisive in the country, but he doesn't really care. Just wants to solidify his base. That might have been too political, so criticize me for that. But that's what it is. So we can't impeach him for political reasons, and we can't not impeach him for political reasons. But we have to see where the facts take us.
Is that double talk? We cannot impeach him for political reasons, but we cannot not impeach him for political reasons. Yeah, that's what you call double talk. It's gaslighting. It's gaslighting their base, getting them fired up, invoking emotions and trying to stir their emotions and get them all riled up. And now we see it across the country. We see people attacking MAGA hat wearers, Trump T-shirt wearers. You can come to Cincinnati on the west side, though. It's all right. No, nobody's going to harass you on the west side of Cincinnati. You're good to go. You go to the east side, I can't protect you on the east side. I cannot protect you downtown. But on the west side of Cincinnati, you're green lit. Yeah, you're all good. And so she's Nancy Pelosi getting crazy. Sorry, folks, for those of you audio only, to see Nancy Pelosi's face, it's just this mangled, twisted, contortionist type face thing she's got going on. Very crazy, very creepy looking. So sad, so sad. And the thing about the internet, or thing about social media, and that our President Donald Trump, is on Twitter speaking out loud at all times. Thank you very much, sir. I caught his tweet because I go down his timeline every day. Wake up, go to Trump's timeline. I go to the bottom, the last where I left off, and I like and retweet everything all the way back up to the top as if it was on my timeline, as if he tweeted it in real time. And so I caught this one. Donald Trump tweeted out, he wants to impeach because they say they can't win an election. Sad. That was in a response to at Team Trump, official Team Trump. Watch, Democrat member of Congress admits he only wants to impeach real Donald Trump so that he won't be reelected. Okay, so I'm going down this rabbit hole. This is what we call rabbit holes. Now, okay, let's jump over to at Trump War Room. So Trump War Room tweeted this video clip out of Al Green, the Democrat, and it went all the way up the line to Donald Trump. So I got it for you guys.
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected. I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
You heard it from the horse's mouth. If we don't impeach Trump, he will get reelected. Folks, we know this is true. We all know it's true. Donald Trump tweeted out Donald Trump tweeted out a quote from Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio. And Jim Jordan said, the real obstruction of justice is the Democrats are trying to do to Attorney General Barr. That's the real obstruction. This is GOP Chair Kevin McCarthy. Democrats and Republicans should be working together to lower costs of prescription drugs. What are Democrats doing instead?
Pricing of drugs are too high, and we can lower it. This is a place that we should work bipartisan. These are the things we should be working on. But what's the Judiciary Committee going to do this week? They're going to hold the Attorney General in contempt for not breaking the law.
But is there a companion?
Absurd.
Again, holding Attorney General William Barr in contempt for not breaking the law. This is the Democrat lawlessness on display. I can't say it anymore. And it's all over social media. They can't hide from this stuff. This is unbelievable. They can't hide from it anymore. Our weapon of choice, social media and the intranets, we've got them. And even if I'm shadow banned, or if I'm blocked, or if I get kicked off, I can create another account and still receive the information, but not be myself anymore. It's called being unpersoned. So as I dig deep for the real news for you folks, it was wrong when FBI spied on Martin Luther King Jr., and it's wrong today. And this video at the gatewaypundit.com.
Void of any sense of decency, they have truly become swamp creatures. Joining us tonight is Harmeet Dillon, managing partner at the Dillon Law Group, RNC committeewoman for the state of California. Harmeet, great to have you with us. Let me start with what we're listening to here. Ignore the special counsel conclusions, ignore law, ignore restraint, decency, civility, ignore the reality, which is that William Barr, as Attorney General of the United States, he did not lie, and they know it, which makes them liars.
Absolutely. And ignore the will of the voters as well, Lou, because that's what they're doing here. Not only did the voters vote for Donald Trump overall, but they also don't like this impeachment talk. And, you know, when Nancy Pelosi is the voice of reason amongst the Democrats, I think they're in real trouble. And you know, the changing of words with regard to the spying that Christopher Wray did today, that was pretty disgraceful. You know, the FBI has been doing this in certain periods of our history. It was wrong when the FBI weaponized itself against Martin Luther King Jr. and spied on him. And it's wrong when they're doing it today. And this is going to go down as a dark period in history for our greatest law enforcement agency.
There are lots of ways to say this, but I'm going to just say what I feel and that is that the FBI director is a twit.
That's the great Lou Dobbs talking about Christopher Wray. Yes, Christopher Wray, in case you didn't know, yesterday came out and said, I don't call it spying. I don't believe that there was spying involved. Christopher Wray, I think you need to get in the right line. You really need to figure out what's real news and what's fake news. And Christopher Wray, you don't want to get, my personal opinion, just give you a heads up, man. Don't get caught up with the Barack Obamas of the world. Don't get caught up with the clappers. Don't get caught up with them. You start taking their side and it doesn't end well. This at Trump War Room, James Clapper on Wolf Blitzer's show.
Was it spying? Well, yeah, I guess it meets the dictionary definition of surveillance or spying.
And now James Clapper, who was the Barack Obama era. Yeah, no. You got to stay away from that. And GOP chairwoman, and she tweeted this video out. Hillary Clinton is still claiming the election was stolen.
As I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
What do you think of that?
I think it's shameful. It's sad that Hillary Clinton cannot accept the loss that she brought on upon herself. I was the state party chair in Michigan. She never traveled to our state. She didn't go to Wisconsin one time during that election. She was a failure of a candidate running on a failing message. And Donald Trump talked to the American people and he said, guess what? I'm going to raise wages. I'm going to get our GDP going. I'm going to get our economy going. I'm going to bring back manufacturing jobs. And he's done all those things.
Big league win 2020. You couldn't get good odds on that in Vegas anymore. Man. And Rhonda McDaniel once again. Ever wonder why Democrats are so obsessed with Russia? They want to distract from how strong our economy is under at real Donald Trump. Fake news, you got it wrong. Come on. It's easy. Donald Trump's got this. It is in the bag. You talk about billion-dollar loser. You talk about Barack Hussein Obama. When you're talking about the comeback kid, the comeback, the American dream, the story of all time, the story that embodies the American dream, that would be Donald Trump. President of the United States, Donald Trump, trying to get America back on track again. At Real Donald Trump, forgotten man story. Under Trump, red counties economically thrive. No, he didn't say Rotten Clinton. I said Rotten Clinton. But you know, that would be funny. He did misspell Adam Schiff's name and spelled it SCHITT. That was one for the ages, guys. You know, it's going to be, I'm going to shed a tear when 2020 comes. I'm going to shed a tear when 2024 comes. Because Donald Trump will still be on Twitter, still be cracking and having fun with it. But man, what an awesome time to be alive to have a president like this. And this tweeted out by Donald Trump Jr. at Donald J. Trump Jr. What happens when you compare the Trump economy to the Obama economy? They said it's the economy, stupid. That's what it is. And everybody's loving every minute of it. This is the hottest ticket in the nation. There isn't anything hotter than this. And some great news real quick. Washington Times, President Trump won a surprise victory before a usually agnostic appeals 19th Circus Court of Appeals Tuesday when judges ruled that he could continue his return to Mexico policy. That allows the government to make some illegal immigrants seeking asylum wait in Mexico until their cases are heard. And at Real Jack, he tweeted this out, and that's where I got the article. Real Jack's a good friend of ours. Thank you, Jack. Jack also has ilovemyfreedom.com. Great articles over there as well. And at Pro-Life Texan US, this is a representative of Congress who has now come to power illegitimately. Pro-Life Texan USA responding to Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar said, this is a president who has come to power vilifying and demonizing immigrants and refugees. He proudly said we should halt Muslims from entering our country. And Pro-Life Texan respond, this one came to Congress illegitimately by defrauding immigration systems, married her brother, dehumanizing Jews and whites, That's when we had the 750 rockets launched at Israel this past weekend. Very, very, very wrong that she would dehumanize the Jews. Only concerned with social media star status, she continues to promote anti-Semitism while rooting for Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood. Minnesota can do better. I agree 100% Minnesota can do better, but her district is a lot of Muslim refugees, and I don't know where that's going to go or how that's going to play out. And as we round out the show, I told you, Luna Sally, Sallai, thousands of people singing Amazing Grace in Times Square. And rounding out the show, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to New Right Network's original series, Smith TV. Your host, Brian Smith. Jump over to smith.com. You get the real news here, folks. I have breaking news every day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, and exposing the fake news like we did today and give you the real news. God bless America. All right, guys, I will see you for Wednesday Wisdom. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow for Thursday Thoughts.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.